Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Pauper Premier League, sponsored by CoolStuffInc.com and Wizards of the Coast. I'm Kendra Smith, aka the Maverick Girl, and I'm joined once again with Alex Ullman.
I'm here.
We're just about done. It's been quite a long ride, as normal. Those who have been with us for a little bit here, not just today, but these last few weeks. First off, thank you so much for joining us, spending your time with us. It's been absolutely amazing having each and every one of you here, joining us, hanging out, chatting, watching the games, so on and so forth. We understand this kind of run a little bit late, but we've got a great matchup now for you with Chris Van Meter's Burn versus Adam Yurchick Condescend on Astro Jeskai. And both of these are very, very well experienced players, and this is going to be a fun one to round out the night.
Yeah, this is our first chance to see someone go 3-0. One person will end up 3-0 at the end of this and be in place going into the back half of our season. So let's go down to the game and see what's going to happen.
Heck yeah, let's get going. And there it is. So we're already starting, and
it looks like Adam took a mulligan, but he is on the play. Looks like he went down to 6 cards, does not have an Astrolabe, but does have a Prophetic Prism. Meanwhile, Chris looks like he has a very good hand. He can lead on Lightning. Looks like he's going to lead on Lava Spike. Absolutely. Or is he going to hold it back? He might hold it back. No, he's going to lead because then he can set up either a Thermo-Alchemist or Curse of the Pierced Heart next turn. Meanwhile, Adam is going to have to take off a turn to Prism. If you're Chris here, do you Thermo-Alchemist or do you Curse of the Pierced Heart?
So I myself, again, we're looking at this with perfect information.
Sure.
So the correct play would be to Curse here. But, so it looks like that's what he does. Now, if I were in Chris's spot, I might have actually played that Thermo-Alchemist, only because knowing just how few lands Adam actually had, both lands and just cards in hand. Cards in hand is what I meant. Because we knew how few cards Adam has seen, we could also pretty easily assume that there really wasn't a removal spell or a Skred or anything. And even just that one little thing would have been enough to get, turn basically 6 points of damage into 9 whole points. So it would have done quite a lot had it been able to stick around, but obviously it didn't. So now we have to see what happens, but wow. Chris found the other Thermo-Alchemist. So
I think also you have to respect the Skred just a little bit. But it looks like Adam is going to apply a lot of damage. And does Chris have 14 points of burn next turn? He has at least... Adam's at effectively 13. So what Chris can do is he can tap Thermo-Alchemist, put Adam to 13.
Yep.
Untap with Lightning Bolt, which puts him to 10. Tap Thermo-Alchemist, put Adam to 9. Untap with Lightning Bolt, which has him at 6. This game is over.
Yeah, it is.
Because Chris puts him to 5, Pyroblast him down to 1.
Yep, and then taps it one more time.
This game is over. We are going to game 2.
That was mighty fast.
You know what? But that is kind of what happens. These Jeskai decks, these Astro decks, do need to take turns off to cycle. But now things get different. So what do you think Adam?
Well, so I think obviously Adam's going to bring in his Lone Missionaries, his Navigator's Compass. We saw that already. He pretty much just snapped those off like nobody's business. And we've got here Adam.
Chris
Adam does have the Hydroblasts, so he may bring those in. It looks like he did. It's a little difficult to tell here because our screen, we're watching this through Discord, so our screen is a little murky. It's a little hard to tell, but it looks like he did take or bring in the Hydroblasts. And Chris is then bringing in some red elemental blasts and some other things here.
Looks like Chris is bringing in the Smash to Smithereens as well.
Absolutely. Now, one thing, I'm not sure. I feel like if I were in Chris's spot, would you take and bring in the Molten Rain? We did see Azorius Chancery there. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, Chris would know that Adam does have that card in his deck from the open deck. I would
do it on the play. On the draw, I don't want to take that turn off. But on the play, if it can be my turn 3 play, I would be very happy to do that. But it looks like we're ready. It looks like Adam has, Hydroblast. He has lands. He doesn't have an Astrolabe or a Prophetic Prism. However, he does have Trinket Mage to go get it. Meanwhile, Chris has 2 lands, Red Elemental Blast, Lightning, Chain Lightning, Lava Spike, and Skewer the Critics. But it looks like Adam did take a mulligan, so he's bottoming a Kor Skyfisher and leading on Island. Meanwhile, Chris draws a mountain, and he's going, he's trying to face with Lava Spike. Do you counter this?
Base is the place.
No, Adam decides to cycle Ash Barrens, looking to get, I think getting Snow-Covered Plains. Adam then finds the Skyfisher.
Just isn't going to be doing it here. So we'll see what we got coming down, but it's probably going to be Thermo-Alchemist.
I think Thermo-Alchemist is a little valuable here, so I wonder if Chris is going to hold off until he can resolve it with a Red Elemental Blast backup.
Yeah, he's certainly thinking about it a little bit, but no, he's going for it.
Adam looks like he's just going to destroy it, not even deal with it on the stack. Adam then untaps. Oh, Seeker of the Way is huge here because it does gain life gain upon a prowess trigger.
Yeah.
So it looks like Adam is going to get a Astrolabe, or do you think he gets Compass here? He gets Compass. He's going to gain some life.
Compass seems pretty good.
Do you think that Chris should have not tapped out for the Alchemist and instead gone for a burn spell?
I definitely think there's there's a case for that. We do know that Adam only does have 2 Hydroblasts in his deck.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that there was only that one blue source and that one white source, I think it's a reasonable play just to go for it. We obviously Adam hadn't shown like any red sources, hadn't shown any 2 mana for Counterspell. So a little hard for Chris to really deal with it. But now that we've seen Navigator's Compass and we're going to see like the Glint Hawk, we're going to see the Seeker of the Way. This really puts the hurt on Chris Van Meter.
Is there any merit to actually leading on Seeker of the Way and then doing some of the Glint Hawk tricks with Navigator's Compass next turn to bolster your life total?
So there is, but there isn't, because you also don't know exactly what Chris has in his hand.
But any burn spell pointed at Seeker of the Way is one not pointed at your life total, right? So no matter what, it's going to absorb, except for Searing Blaze.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, it's going to absorb something. Chris draws a Chain Lightning, and he's pointing it at the life total.
Upstairs, faces the place.
I think Adam's in firm control of this game because he gets to Kor Skyfisher here, gain another 3 life, undo that Chain Lightning. Chris is just sitting back on a Red Elemental Blast that isn't going to do anything until that Mulldrifter decides to show up.
But even then, it's pretty much over. Adam's firmly in the driver's seat right now, and I don't think Chris at this point has really any shot of coming back from this. And there's a counterspell for backup too.
Adam swings with the team, knocks Chris down to 8, doesn't do anything, doesn't cast a spell, holds up everything.
Nope. And he really doesn't need to either.
If he plays out the Seeker, his clock shrinks to 1 turn instead of 2 more turns. But I think with the Counterspell, the game is kind of there's a very small sequence of plays that can unlock victory for Chris. Double Fireblast is not it yet, and so we're going to game 3. And this is the game where I think Chris brings in those Molten Rains.
Yeah.
Chris is siding out Red Blast. What do you think about that?
I can see the case for it. Maybe he thinks that maybe there's just not, we didn't see quite as many of the blue cards to counter, or just didn't show up at the right moment. He wants to be more aggressive. He's on the play, so he wants to be going in for the damage as quickly as possible and hitting in for as much damage. Counter, and we're seeing it in our chat here too a little bit. Red Elemental Blast and Pyroblast, they don't do damage. So by taking it out here while on the play, it gives you more opportunities to go way, way more aggressively in for some damage.
So both players start on 7 cards. Chris leads on Ghitu Lavarunner. Adam, meanwhile, leads on Island, and it looks like he's contemplating whether or not to ponder here. Looks like he's going to ponder. His hand is set up, but he doesn't have a Trinket. He does have a Trinket Mage, but... And there's the Astrolabe, right on time. Oh, but Chris draws the Curse of the Pierced Heart. But he does have the opportunity here to go for Alchemist. What he doesn't know is that Alchemist is going to die to Skred, thanks to Arcum's Astrolabe turning a blue mana into a red mana and being a 3rd snow permanent.
Yep.
So Adam is very well set up. You know, when you start turn 3 at 18 life against Burn, that's very good. Chris going for, looks like Curse of the Pierced Heart here, and holding back that mountain, which is going to do work next turn when he's able to Searing Blaze a play.
Hopefully he's able to take out a Seeker of the Way here in the process.
It looks like that's going to be the case, because if I'm Adam, what I'm going to want to do is, if I don't draw a land, I'm going to want to cycle that Ash Barrens. And I don't draw a land, so I'm... No. He went for Trinket Mage.
Okay, so very fine.
But it looks like it's probably going to get Navigator's Compass, which it does. But... So what's going to happen here? So we're going to get Searing Blaze, which will put Adam down to 14. Interesting. He doesn't go for the Lightning Bolt, which would have dealt an additional 4 points of damage thanks to not Navigator's Compass, thanks to Ghitu Lavarunner. Instead, what we're going to see is a Ponder.
I don't know about that. I feel like while CVM is tapped out here, I feel like I would have just tapped the Astrolabe for the white mana, and used the Glint Hawk, picked up the Navigator's Compass right there, and just tried to gain the extra life and make sure I was well out of range.
Well, it looks like he did pick up the Navigator's Compass, but he's not going to replay it. Looks like he's leaving the mana up for Hydroblast.
And that's exactly what we're going to see here. And no?
No. Okay, so Riftbolt comes off Suspend. I think... what do you think? Do you think he goes face, or do you think Chris ends up targeting the Glint Hawk?
I think face is the place. Because I think then you just attack. If you trade, then you trade. Otherwise, I think you deal 3 damage, and then you go in for an extra 2 damage if they decide to not block. If they do block, then you've just traded your resources at a better rate.
Riftbolt does target the Glint Hawk. Pyroblast ends up targeting the Ghitu Lavarunner, and Adam is down to 14, but here comes that Navigator's Compass. Here comes a Kor Skyfisher, probably picking up Navigator's Compass. Adam's going to end turn 5 on 20 life, and you know what? I think we have our first 3-0 player, and I think it's Adam Yurchick.
Yeah, it's definitely looking that way. Adam's all the way back up to 20, and Chris just does not have the gas in his hand. But that said, Adam also has not dealt any damage to Chris. So we're at a point still where for all we know, we could reach a point where Adam just ends up running out of gas.
I don't think that's going to happen. Adam has Preordain.
I don't think so
just
either,
drew a second Preordain. Had a second Preordain. Now has Trinket Mage. He's at 19 life. He's on a 20-turn clock, and he has a Seeker of the Way.
Yeah.
Even a Lightning Bolt here. I think if you're Chris, you can point a Lightning Bolt at Seeker of the Way, which looks like he's going to do. But what ends up happening is Adam then is able to resolve a Kor Skyfisher, which is 1 white, 2 and a white, 2/3 flyer that gains 3 life.
So now Chris has to play the control role as opposed to going all in for the aggro.
But you know what? Look, there's another Seeker of the Way.
Mm-hmm. That's going to go in hard and try and put in as much work as possible. So I give Chris some credit for putting in that fighting shot, but it's not looking the best right now.
Well, that opens up a window. By going Trinket Mage and opening up a turn, we now have a chance. See, now here's Thermo-Alchemist. So now things are a little different now. Lone Missionary showed up. Never mind.
Yeah.
Lone Missionary is just going to gain so much life this game. It is going to gain 4 life at the very least.
Chris picked up a chain lightning, or he picked up a mountain there. So Chris is kind of flooding out just a tiny bit.
Yeah, you don't really want to draw more than 3 lands on burn, maybe 4 if you have double Pyroblast. But yeah, what we're going to see is an Astrolabe pumping up the Seeker of the Way. What we might see next is Kor Skyfisher picking something up so we can get more. But no, Adam's playing it conservatively, going back up to 19 life, and I do not see how Chris gets back into this game. Adam leaving up Counterspell mana, but another mountain.
Mountain.
You know what?
Yeah.
I said a few minutes ago, and I thought that a window opened for Chris with that Thermo-Alchemist, but this game is firmly in the hands of Adam, and he's going to be our first 3-0 player at the end of the night.
Sure is. This feels very much like what happened with me last week when I was up against Brian in my second match, I believe it was, or the second game rather, and it was just like, got taken off of my mana pretty quickly, and then all I did was just draw lands for the entire rest of the time when I needed to be drawing the gas. And it looks like, Chris kind of having that same kind of thing happen here. He's just flooding out really hard at a point where he needs to be finding this stuff to really be able to apply the pressure properly.
What would have been great here is Smash to Smithereens. But what's going to be interesting is next week, 4 of the 6 players who are 2-1 are in the same pod. So we had a small schedule change going into next week. Originally, it was supposed to be Ricardo Montagna. Instead, it's 3 players who are 2-1. It was supposed to be Ricardo Montagna. He's made a swap with Brian Koval for Brian's schedule purposes. So next week, and that's game. So next week, what we're going to see is we're going to see myself, we're going to see Brian Koval, we're going to see Andreas Peterson, and we're going to have Brian DeMars back. And so we have 3-2-1 players, 1-1-2 player. And at the end of that, we're going to have a lot more clear picture of our playoffs. But first of all, congratulations to Adam Yurchick. 3-0, in great position to make the playoffs. He needs to get 1 win. And if he gets 2 wins, he's getting basically a bye into the second half of the first night of playoffs. So great job.
If he goes full 6-0, then he's all the way in.
Yeah.
He's the only one with that shot. So best of luck to him, and best of luck to all contenders. Unlike each of these last weeks, it's been both me and Alex as your host. Next week, unfortunately, I am attending Gen Con.
So unfortunate.
Yeah. I will be working at the Cool Stuff Inc. booth. I'm on the buy team, and I will be there. I know Evan Irwin, also a member of this league, will be at Gen Con. I don't know if he's working or just participating, but he'll be around. and so will a lot of others. So if you're happen to be out at Gen Con, be sure to drop by, check out their booth, see what we got going on. And in the meantime, I also just want to say, obviously, thank you to Cool Stuff Inc. for sponsoring us and our amazing producer, Rich Cassell, for helping us get going with this. Him, the graphics team, a lot of this wouldn't be possible without them. And one more thing, of course, thank you to Wizards of the Coast for helping sponsor us and keeping us going here.
So we will see you next week. Rather, you're going to see a lot of me next week as we move into the back half of our season. Hopefully we'll see some other decks. Hopefully we'll see some new stuff. But until then, I'm Alex Ullman. This is Kendra Smith, and I'll see you next week, and Kendra will see you in 2.
Yep, I'll be there then. Have a great night.
Good luck to Brian DeMars and Brian Cobande playing in the Mythic Championship. My guess is that, you could probably stay up for a few more hours and just start watching that in a few seconds, right?
Yeah, sure. Pretty much.
Who needs sleep? Have a good night, everyone.
Great night, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in.